That's the reality. But I got a season in this product. I'm the Tupac of product. You gonna see I'm better than Ralph Lauren. You gonna see I'm gonna be bigger than H&M, bigger than Louis Vuitton. That is my, in 10 years of creativity, they say change your job every 10 years.
First, let me clear up that title for you. Of course, Kanye is one of the most celebrated rappers in history, with 22 Grammys and some of the greatest albums of all time. But if we look purely at how Kanye earns his money, rapping is nothing but a side hustle for him. Kanye makes most of his net worth from his ventures in fashion, and particularly his Yeezy brand, which is doing tremendously well, and that makes him more fashion mogul than rapper. Recently, Bloomberg claimed that Kanye is the richest black man in American history, which went on to be disputed by Forbes, but there is no denying his billionaire status. In this episode, we will focus on the business of being Kanye West and the ins and outs of how he makes his money and what we think his actual net worth is. Welcome to Mandora. Please like and subscribe to our channel so we can keep producing quality content. Let's start our story off in February 2016, which is when Kanye announced that he is in $53 million of debt on Twitter and publicly asked Mark Zuckerberg to invest $1 billion in his ideas. He even started a GoFundMe page for donations to his cause. Kanye was already a successful artist by then, and so this surprised people. However, at the time, Kanye was coming off a string of failures in the ruthless world of fashion. In 2009, his first fashion brand Pastelle didn't even make it to stores after 3 years of work. Then, in 2011, he went on to make a women's fashion line which had the not so subtle name Kanye West, and this also flopped and was received with negative reviews. The New York Times' Kathy Horn said, "Next season, Kanye should get a tailor so the clothes might fit." Even though Kanye's Yeezy collaboration with Nike was popular, Kanye famously didn't have royalties in his contract with Nike, and so this collaboration would have been unlikely to be very lucrative. He also shared his frustration with Nike in a BBC interview when he said, "You guys don't understand. I did the Air Yeezys and then they eBayed for $90,000, but I didn't get a call from Nike the next day." However, it all changed for Kanye when he struck a long-term partnership with Adidas. Unlike Nike, Adidas offered Kanye a 15% royalty as well as marketing fees on top, which was unheard of at the time. To put that into context, Michael Jordan earns a 5% royalty for his Air Jordan line with Nike. Remember that royalties are almost pure profit, as they are a percentage of the top line rather than the post-expenses profit Adidas makes on the Yeezys, meaning that this deal was incredibly lucrative for Mr. West. Furthermore, it was more than just money. Adidas also gave Kanye full ownership of the brand and let him control the creative process of the products released. Kanye said that he chose Adidas because they allowed him to build something. Kanye's Adidas Yeezys became wildly successful and grew quickly from 2016 to 2019, not only commercially but also in terms of cultural impact in the sneaker community, as new drops often sold out in minutes and sold for thousands of dollars on the resale market. In 2018, Yeezy sold $1 billion worth of sneakers, and in 2019, this grew by 50% to $1.5 billion. During the pandemic hit year of 2020, sales grew to $1.7 billion, and from this, Kanye netted a cool $214 million in income. Not bad for a man who was supposedly bankrupt 5 years ago. With this information, we can start piecing together Kanye's net worth. Bloomberg made headlines recently when they announced that Kanye is worth $6.6 billion after a private report on Kanye was released by UBS, which led to social media announcing him as the richest black man in American history. However, this was soon disputed and taken down by Bloomberg. Let's go through how UBS reached this figure. Firstly, UBS valued the Yeezy business as a whole, rather than just valuing Kanye's 15% royalty. To do this, they took estimates of Yeezy's royalties from Adidas, as well as future estimates of a Yeezy Gap clothing line, which was announced by Kanye, but hasn't earned $1 of revenue yet. Gap expects his Yeezy line to make $150 million of revenue in 2022, and possibly even $1 billion in 2023, which does seem to be a very optimistic rate of growth. If this sounds crazy to you, it really shouldn't, because virtually all small companies, for example startups, who are looking for funding, calculate their valuations on future rather than current revenues. UBS took these revenue estimates and gave an upper bound valuation of $4.7 billion for the Yeezy business, which is split into $970 million for the Yeezy Gap business and the remaining $3.73 billion coming from the Yeezy Adidas partnership. The remaining $1.9 billion in Kanye's net worth came from a variety of sources. Mostly, it is an investment in his ex-wife Kim Kardashian's underwear brand Skims, as well as $122 million in cash and stocks, $21 million in real estate, a $3.8 million car collection, and strangely, $297,050 in livestock. On top of that, his entire music catalogue is valued at $110 million, which by no means is small, but is just a mere 2% of his total net worth according to UBS. This is why I come back to my title. Kanye West is not a rapper, but is actually a fashion designer who does rapping on the side. Fashion was always in Kanye's vision, who says that being the creative director of the French luxury goods brand Hermes is his dream job. We should also touch upon the fact that $6.6 billion is probably an overestimate for Kanye's net worth, given that attributing the entirety of the value of Yeezy to Kanye is probably not fair on Adidas, given that Kanye only keeps a 15% royalty. Keeping this in mind, Forbes responded to the Bloomberg article by saying that Kanye's share of Yeezy is worth $1.5 billion. They took the $214 million in royalties Kanye receives, gave it a multiple of 9, which is the standard Forbes uses for valuing royalties, and then took off a 20% discount as Yeezy is a private company. The 20% private company discount is something I won't explain in this video, but I can assure you that applying a discount to the valuation of a private company is a standard process. Forbes also gave no value to Kanye's Gap deal as it has no revenues currently and downplays the value of Kanye's investment in Skims. Adding up Forbes' numbers, they come up with a net worth of $1.8 billion for Kanye. In our opinion, the Bloomberg article is a gross overstatement of Kanye's net worth, but the Forbes article is probably an understatement. Applying a multiple of just 9 to a rapidly growing company is low compared to what companies on the public market trade for now. With the rate at which Yeezy is growing, a 15 to 20 multiple would have been fairer, and adding the 20% discount would bring the valuation closer to the $3 to $4 billion range for the Adidas Yeezy collaboration, bringing Kanye's total net worth closer to the $4 to $5 billion mark. In fact, just a year earlier, Forbes valued Kanye at $1.3 billion, and Kanye replied by saying that his net worth is actually $3.3 billion, since no one at Forbes knows how to count. While we can debate endlessly over $1 billion here and there, we can't argue over Kanye's billionaire status and his impressive comeback from a run of failures in the fashion industry not so long ago. Furthermore, the continued growth of Yeezys as well as potential of the partnership with Gap makes it likely that Kanye's net worth won't stop growing just yet. That's it for today's episode. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode and whether you would like to see more celebrity episodes like this.